New this morning, Albuquerque police are still on the scene of an overnight shooting. This is a live look from where it all happened at a home on Rice Avenue near Indian School and Rio Grande in northwest Albuquerque. Now, what I can tell you, we just got an update about the situation. That we understand that police are now waiting for the Violent Crimes Unit to arrive and continue their investigation. Police are still searching for one person that may be involved here. Police tell us 2 people arrived at the home early this morning. Neighbors say an argument broke out and shots were heard. Police say one victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. One suspect was shot and is in critical condition. Right now, you are asked to avoid the area. In some other news this morning, we could learn more today about a deadly deputy-involved shooting. The Bernalillo County Sheriff says a deputy decided to shoot when a suspect rammed his car.
Yeah, deputies say the guy had already rammed another car and obviously was not done. Just after 6 last night, deputies got a call about a man fighting with 2 women at a gas station on Coors and Gun Club. He was apparently trying to force a woman into his truck. Well, the women got into their own car and started driving away, going north on Coors. Then deputies say the man tried to run them over. A deputy drove up to the area and says the man began ramming his car, trapping the deputy inside. That's when the sheriff says the deputy fired at least one shot at the man. After,
yeah, with the vehicle. I think it was clearly visible by the damage to the female's vehicle and the sheriff's deputy vehicle that he intended to do great bodily harm to all of them.
Well, the sheriff there, Dan Houston, responding to a question about if the man had a weapon. The man who was shot was rushed to UNM Hospital where he died. The sheriff says 2 witnesses helped get the deputy out of his car. The sheriff's office has not released the name of the man involved or the deputy.
A sad end to a story we have been following. The remains of a missing hiker in Santa Fe have been found. Search crews have been looking for 75-year-old Audrey Clappin since Wednesday. Her and her husband parted ways while looking for mushrooms near the Santa Fe ski basin. She failed to return. Well, yesterday, searchers found Kaplan's poncho and the Trader Joe's bag she was carrying. They found her remains a short time later, a little over a mile away from where she was last seen. How she died will now be determined by the Office of the Medical Investigator.
The federal facility in Artesia, housing hundreds of immigrants who have entered the country illegally, is getting a visit today from our elected leaders. It's supposed to include Congressman Steve Pierce, who's talked a lot about this recently. The Department of Homeland Security is processing more than 600 women and children at the center. After the tour today at 4 o'clock, Congressman Pierce will join the mayors of Artesia and Roswell and other leaders for a news conference at the Artesia Chamber of Commerce. Voters in Albuquerque may still get a say on if penalties for having pot in a Duke City should be reduced.
City councilors will vote next week on a proposal that would allow voters to weigh in on a plan to reduce pot penalties.
I think overwhelming evidence speaks to the fact that nationally and statewide, people are in favor of decriminalizing marijuana, especially an ounce or less.
Councilor Ray Garduno wants the issue to go to a vote in the general election. His proposal would mean someone caught with an ounce or less of pot would not face jail time. Instead, the offender would face a $25 fine of up to $50. But some city councilors think the proposal is just a political ploy.
This is a city ordinance with the intent to affect the statewide election, and I don't think that's right to mess with a city ordinance like that.
Well, this all comes after the city made a mistake telling petitioners that they needed about 11,000 signatures to get the issue on the ballot when in fact they needed 14,000. Garduno says that is not fair. Well, there is a new addition to the Albuquerque City Council chambers. Check this out, a wall that separates the audience and city councilors. In May, if you'll recall, protesters angry at APD and the officer-involved shootings that the city has seen took over a city council meeting. But City Council President Ken Sanchez says the wall actually has nothing to do with that. He says it's one of the many upgrades that's been in the works. Other improvements, better wheelchair accessibility, and a TV screen outside the chambers for people who have to stand outside.
Well, one town here in New Mexico that's seen more than its fair share of flooding this year, and as you can see, could soon get help from the federal government. Yesterday, the Sandoval County Commission unanimously approved an emergency declaration for Algodones. It allows the community to apply for federal disaster money. Algodones has been hit very hard by severe storms twice in the last few weeks that have badly flooded some neighborhoods. And Albuquerque city leaders are working toward making sure no more drivers have to deal with this flooded street near downtown when we get a lot of rain. 4 cars flooded and stalled out Friday night, forcing drivers to swim to safety. In the short term, the city says it'll be more proactive about closing the road when it rained. It's also now looking at putting advanced warnings out there, such as gates, flashing lights, and high water signs that would be near the underpass under the train tracks. The city says it has taken a while to fix the underpass because it's focused the money on keeping neighborhoods from flooding.
It really is prioritizing the funding, and I believe we did a good job of that because we did protect residential and neighborhoods from the storm this weekend.
In the long term, the city has applied for $15 million of federal funds to rebuild the underpass. That project would also raise sidewalks to go over the railroad tracks. Well, the rain also damaged UNM's Centennial Library, and unfortunately, a lot of historic stuff in it. Water seeped under doors, it flowed down the main stairs and into elevator shafts. About 50 shelves of books and papers were damaged. Many of them are historic government documents that are unique to New Mexico. They've been boxed up, frozen, and shipped to a company to try to salvage them. Fans and dehumidifiers now in the library to try to dry everything else out. It is closed for now, but 3 other libraries at the university are open. Liz?
A harsh reality check on federal inspectors at the waste isolation pilot plant near Carlsbad. New Mexico's 2 U.S. Senators, Tom Udall and Martin Heinrich, say the federal agency charged with reviewing the safety of mines failed to conduct required inspections at WIPP. The troubled underground nuclear waste dump in southern New Mexico was to be inspected by the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Udall and Heinrich are saying that the organization put WIPP workers and the surrounding community at risk by not doing those inspections. Job seekers, today could be the day you find that new gig. The Jobs or Gobs of Jobs Fair is going on. It's going on today from 11 to 3 at the Marriott Pyramid. That's at 5151 San Francisco Road Northeast. There are 26 companies attending. Organizers suggest applicants create an account and post their resumes online at a website, jobbing.com, creating their own website to connect with employers. We have put that link on our website, KRQE.com. Be sure to dress for success and take copies of your resume.